Welcome to Praying Through the Bible, number 31, Exodus 17, verses 1 through 7, a prayer from testing. Nowadays, they don't stone the prophets, they just fire the preachers. That Perryism is brought to you courtesy of a preacher who has been fired, and thankfully didn't get stoned. David Tant comforted me, saying, "No preacher is worth his salt who hasn't been fired." While surely he meant it in a hyperbolic sense, there is truth there. In Exodus 17, verse 4, Moses is afraid of being stoned, afraid of his own people, his family. Israel does not like where Moses is leading, to places without abundant water. Truth is, like all godly leaders, Moses is not leading, he is following. God is leading. After passing through the Red Sea, then grumbling about no water to drink, God healed the waters at Marah, plus led them to 12 springs, Exodus chapter 15. That's much proof God provides. Yet Israel once more finds they lack water, Exodus 17. Instead of trusting because of the past, they grumble again because of the present. But this time, they add to their sin of grumbling, the sin of testing the Lord. I just had a terrible thought. What if Israel did not add to their sin of grumbling the sin of testing the Lord? What if grumbling is testing the Lord? Have I tested God? Exodus 17, verse 7 says, Moses called to the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because the children of Israel quarreled or complained, and because they tested Yahweh, saying, "Is Yahweh among us or not?" That is the prayer of testing. Today's quarrel, people ask, where is God when bad things happen to good people? Testing God is not so much about God's power, but about God's character. How much does God love us? The serpent tested Eve by attacking God's character. When we complain about things, about life, we're learning we are complaining about God. They put God to the test by withholding full faith, unless he constantly demonstrates to their satisfaction that Yahweh is among us. God must become their puppet. Devastating Egypt, opening the Red Sea, sweetening the water, and raining bread from heaven were not enough to perpetually win their trust. How dare they? How dare us? God has the right to test us. We have no right to test God. God answers their prayer by giving visible evidence in three ways. One, Moses takes elders with him, chapter 17 and verse 5, which shows to both Moses and Israel that other leaders are following God too. Second, God says to take the rod used to strike the Nile, which will remind all God has been and is with you. 3, God then commanded Moses to strike the rock. Instead of Moses being stoned, Moses will hit a rock. I like the irony. Water flows, people shut up for now. Israel doesn't understand trust. Do we? Trust is built in the past so that when it's needed in the future, it is already firm in place. Trust is not needed when times are good. We must remember that the God of the past is the God of the present and is the God of the future. Unlike Israel, we've not had the benefit of seeing miracles done right before our eyes. Our trust is not so much in what we have seen, but in what we have read and what we've experienced by faith. And yet it is the same, because our trust is in who performed the miracles and made the promises. Promises we have accepted as our own. Like God provided the water for Israel's salvation, we too can look back at the water in ours. What's our prayer challenge? How do we act when mistreated? How do we treat leaders? How much do we trust God in times of trouble? Have we tested God? Search yourself in prayer, because I have often found that I am the most honest with myself when I'm praying. Start praying. This has been Praying Through the Bible, number 31, Exodus 17, 1 through 7, a prayer from testing. If this has been a blessing to you, please share and feel free to make comments below. Thank you very much.